Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the Rancher and Stilettos Presents Cocktails and Conversations. My name is Marcia Williams Cromer, and once again, I am honored to have the Shelley Roxanne joining me. She is a best-selling author. She is a film producer and director, and she is also my double exposure, my bestie. Hey, Shell.
Hello, my love. Explain to people, tell the story about that because people were saying, what does double exposure mean? What is that? That's like an inside
Yeah,
joke, if you will. Explain what that's about.
so we'd gone on vacation, the two of us, just a girls' trip away, just getting out of the cold of New York. Um,
117 years ago, first. Let's just
yes,
go there.
yes, yes. And we decided we grown, we're going to take a cruise. And it was a lovely cruise. And of course, one of the perks is they're taking your picture everywhere. And we had gone to the dress up dinner night, and I think we were both wearing black. So
Yeah.
we get our picture taken, and we just loved it. We both had our own copy, blah, blah, blah. I am visiting my parents in Huntsville, Texas, and my dad looks at the picture and he asked me, he said, "Oh my God, this is really great, Marsh. How did they do this double exposure?" And I was like, "Okay, Daddy, seriously, you can't tell that one of those people isn't your child, right?" And so
Allegedly.
I know exactly. We still don't know. We're still not
We
sure.
still don't know.
And then my mom looked at it, and I guess because she had kind of heard me talking to Dad, she was like, "Well, these aren't the same people, right?" And I was like, "Okay, okay, Mom, really, I'm out. I am out." They thought that somehow that it was a camera trick that we look so much.
That it was you in the same photo, but they had somehow had you sitting at the table with you.
Exactly, like a
Like
split
it was a
screen.
trick.
Yeah,
Right,
it's like Zoom before Zoom was even heard of.
right. Like you looking at you like right now. Like right
Exactly,
now. You looking.
exactly. So
Yeah.
that's the story. That's the background of the double exposure. So
Got it. Got it. So now
and
everybody understands.
I could not be happier to be considered your double exposure. You know, I love
Oh my
you, girl.
God. That's just so sweet. It has been. I mean, we just stopped telling people when
I
we
know.
would go places and they'd say, "Oh my God, you guys sisters." And to the point that we're like, yes,
Yeah.
because it's better. It's actually better than being born that way because it was chosen,
Right, right,
right? And so it is the family you choose.
right. So true. So true.
And we know we have some family that we didn't choose and maybe wouldn't if given, you know,
Yes,
all things considered,
yes.
all things considered. Bless their hearts. We love you, we love you, we love you.
Exactly, exactly.
As they're saying now, all across social media, what are they saying? We listen and we don't judge. Have you
Right,
seen that?
right,
Now
exactly.
everybody's doing that.
Yes.
And I was laughing, thinking, yeah, that could go really ugly um, sometimes when people are saying, we listen and we don't judge. And so you're going to supposed to say something and not get
Mm.
in trouble.
We got a toast. I forgot.
Oh, uh-oh,
Toast in, love, love, love.
toast, toast.
Oh my goodness. So this is
Toast.
the last show of 2024. Can you believe I started the podcast in what, March of this year? Has been absolutely a blast, having so much fun, just talking
And
about stories.
who was your first guest?
Oh my God, let me think. I think it was Shelley Roxanne.
Oh my gosh.
You know
Therefore,
what?
who was your last guest?
Membership has its privileges.
Wrap it up. Wrap.
Oh my goodness. Yes. And thank you, sweetheart. I'm ending the year and ending after 4 years, the fourth book. And would never have thought when I began this journey that um, I'd be here. I just wanted something to show for being stuck in the house during COVID. And now, the Rancher Before Stilettos is about to be released. And that is the fourth book in the series. Fourth and final, I might add.
Oh, I was going to say, so that's the final.
Yes, yes,
That's
wrapping it
it.
up. There are
That is
other
not your
stories to
last.
be told.
So that is not your last book, but it is the last book in the series.
Exactly, exactly. So,
Wonderful.
and you've read all the books. You haven't
Of
read the
course.
fourth one, of course, because it hadn't come out yet. But
Right.
as a friend of the series, just what's your reflection on just the conversations that we've had and the characters as you've grown to love them?
Well, the interesting part is that your books, I was a virgin before them. I'm
You
just going
know,
to say stop, because it's just, let's just keep it all the way 100. Um, from the first, and I've known you a lifetime.
I know, I know.
And when I read the first one, first of all, I'm looking around to make sure that I'm alone because I'm hoping that all of my reactions and the redness of my face was not visible to anybody because I'm
Clutching the pearls.
watching. My little church lady, Sister Shelley, thing was blown. Okay. Because I was like, and then I'm seeing you in a whole new way.
I
Like,
know you can't. I know it's crazy. It's crazy.
wait, what? Because what? I mean, as a writer, I know that all the characters exist in your head
Mm-hmm.
somewhere. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's in her. And I know we ain't have that conversation. So is that something that she tell me about? It was an amazing. I was so proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
I was blown away by the depth of the writing, the comedy in there, the emotion. It was all so well done that I was just proud. And then, of course, couldn't wait to then get to two and then get to three because now those people became friends in my head.
I was gonna say they live in your head now.
They live in my head now. So now I'm wondering, how's Lane doing? How's Corey doing? What's my girl Zayd up to? So it was really an amazing journey that you then miss them
Right,
after you finish
right. That
each
that
one.
honestly, that is such a compliment that you're invested enough in the characters that you miss hearing what happens next.
Oh, for sure. I mean, and when they've had loss and sadness and, things and the mama dies. Oh, I don't want to tell, speak out of school if people have not seen. But I don't know, spoiler alerts, but
Spoiler alert, yep.
happened. Um, it is you feel it. You
Right.
you feel it. As well as you feel some of the other stuff you might not supposed to feel.
Well,
Feel that too.
as the writer, I will say, as I look back over it, it's such a cathartic journey, because every single book, wherever I was in other relationships in real life or what have you, you borrow from those relationships, right? Um, and as I'm going through maybe a breakup or a hiccup or relationship issues, I found that the book in real life kind of gave me a chance to yell at somebody, on paper that maybe I didn't think this was deserved in real life, but I used it as part of the book. So again, using the books as a way to navigate my own reality, if you will.
That's funny. I have a question about that actually.
Hmm.
So all of these characters are actually based, they're loosely based
Hmm.
um, on real life people and real life scenarios. Each character in the book represents someone in your life.
Right.
So, in that, to what you just said about taking that opportunity to maybe yell at someone or to do so, exposing things, was that A, did you get permission from the people? Is permission even necessary, do you feel? And did you get any blowback from them when their character and Zaid had interaction that was, let's say, private or um, loosely based on real scenarios?
No, I didn't get any pushback. In fact, the people that I was probably most concerned about how they would feel, um, I sent them a copy of the first book before it was even going to print.
Uh-huh.
Because I did. I wanted them to know I was writing it. I shared that information that the book was coming out, and I wanted to get their feedback. And everybody was so supportive and encouraging. And I would say that everybody kind of knows their role. So when you read it, they know that it's not verbatim, just check off the list everything that we've ever done because the story in itself was basically fiction. It's fiction.
Right. Okay, that's important that you say because, I always think about comedians who
Mm-hmm.
base a lot of their stand-up on their own life.
Right.
They're actually telling stories and things that they've experienced in their life. And I've always wondered, how does the wife feel about that, or the child that they're talking about, or whomever feel about their whole experience being exposed to the world, you know?
Yeah, I think if you're in that arena, and you know this anyway, just from the work that you do, you got to have some tough skin. If you know personally, hey, that's not me, that's not the complete story or whatever. He's using something funny that happened and then expound on it. You know better. But you do have to have, even as I think a friend, family member, I don't know what it's like to be on that side where, I write something and maybe it's about a person that, I'm in a relationship with. It has not happened that they come back to me and said, you know what, time out, I'm not feeling that. The name is not your name, so basically the character is made up. I just took my part of my memory, not your memory of the event. I took the part of my memory, how I recall the event happening. Now, if you want to go write a book and give your spin on it, knock yourself out.
Right, but the thick skin, you're saying when you do this, you have to have thick skin, but they're not doing it. If the thick skin is to belong to you, not to belong to them necessarily. So,
Yeah, but and you were talking about if you were a comedian's kid or wife or whatever.
right.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of their job. So I think you
Oh
could,
my gosh,
oh, yeah, yeah,
that is
I know it doesn't mean it that it's easy. Everybody can be sensitive. I told you about my experience where, my writing coach basically told me if you're going to be, get your feelings hurt every time you get a
no,
review
I
or
was
whatever.
there
Oh, yeah.
when the man said it.
I know. I know.
Okay,
He
and
was
I
like,
was
come
like,
back when you built different.
no,
Come back when you built different.
come back
Yes.
when you're built different.
Yes. Absolutely. I was like, ouchie, ouchie.
No, first of all, I
Best
mean,
advice ever.
talk about writing that on the tablets,
Yes.
like Moses said that with the Ten Commandments. That was
I
so
know.
deep
I know.
profound, Mr. Brian. I was like, okay, it was absolutely perfect.
And the
Come
message that I needed to hear for real in my face at that time.
I was there, so I saw it, and I just was like, "Ooh, ouch," you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But it was real. It was real and necessary, and it sounds like that you are built different now.
Yeah. In fact, if I were to take all of the guys that are characters in my book, um, I have completely different relationships with those people. My history with them is different. My future with them is pretty much non-existent.
Say that.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't
yeah.
say that.
I'm sorry.
I said, don't say that.
Well, I mean, it is um that lesson that we get in life where not everybody comes to stay, you know. Doesn't mean I'm angry, doesn't mean I have, bad feelings, because that doesn't serve me, and if I spend quality time with anyone, there's a place in my heart for them. Now, do I want to lean into unnecessary pain at this point in life when just approach things a lot more realistically? And that doesn't mean that love isn't, something that we all search for and that right connection. But having said that, it takes less time to know when you're on a path that's not going to work out for you.
Question to that. So these people, let's call them now the male relationships. We're gonna get personal here. So
Okay.
everybody put Ray Ray, in the other room. But that you have loved, um, do you still love them?
Yes. Yes.
You still love them.
Yes.
Um,
I don't think
what
that
is
the love goes away,
okay?
I
So
think that
that's where I'm going.
yeah, I think it serves itself in its time. I would be hurting myself not to value the time that I spend with people that I care about. I'm not going to spend my valuable time with people that, I don't feel are worthy of my time, or have shown me that they don't respect it. So to that point, I don't, as long as we end the relationship in a place where, okay, so no harm, no foul. It doesn't mean I'm not hurt. I may be hurt behind it or whatever, but as an adult, a lot of times you have to be honest with yourself and say, why would I be upset with the person for being true to themselves? I saw signs of it, those red flashing lights or whatever, and I was like, okay, I'll try one more time. Okay, let me give just one more chance. No, no, they were true to themselves from the beginning, perhaps even not knowing that what they were sharing with me was work that they did not want to keep doing, because I can be some work. I will give you that. But I think I'm worth that. I think I'm so worth it.
So, okay, because so that went in an interesting direction
Okay.
because I was going to ask you, um, how long does that take? So you're saying that you're like, okay, I'll just give them one more
Oh,
time.
girl.
What? To do what?
So let's say this. Fortunately for me, the ones that I gave multiple chances to get their shit straight, um, educated me for the more recent ones. So, in your youth, you don't realize that behavior is pretty much set. So you're hopeful, it's like addicted to hope. Oh yeah, he's all of that, and he has a great job, and his family's nice, and I just like think that's great. And it's just not enough, it's got to be the right fit. So and not only that, I also feel that as I grow, that timeline changes as well.
It
Younger.
shrinks. It shrinks.
Yes, it used to be like,
It
oh,
shrinks.
okay, an accordion of time. And
Yeah.
now it's like a nanosecond.
Right.
This girlfriend don't have time to waste.
No,
Don't have time to waste. No.
not at all.
Mm-mm,
Not
mm-mm.
at all. And it really, it's not about um even necessarily them getting their stuff together. It really is just about whether you can accept who they are from the beginning. So
Mm.
they show you early on,
Yes,
this is who I am.
right,
What women, and I will say women, tend to do is think, okay, I know I see that, but I can work on this and
right,
I can shape and mold somebody else's child.
right.
This is a grown person. Hopefully,
Mm.
you are in a relationship with a grown person who is fully developed and set in their ways.
Right,
So, really, what we're doing in giving them time, not to get their stuff together, but to change into a way that we deem acceptable. That's really what it is.
right.
Their stuff is together for them.
Oh my
So,
God, I love it.
you know,
I know,
so
right? Right?
it really is like, does this work for me as is?
Right.
Not trying to, you go into a store and they put the sign on it when it has a little chip or something, and they say, as is. Okay? We should just start meeting people
Yes, yes.
and see the invisible as is sign on their head.
You're killing me. I hear you. I hear you. That's hilarious.
Okay?
Yes.
So now you decide, do I want to make the investment in this as is?
Right. Right.
The chips are still going to be where they are. The paint is faded over here. This is worn. It's pre-owned.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Worn.
Worn,
Gently worn.
gently worn. Right. Gently used.
Shoes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Um, and so if we made the decision to go, I'm going to take this as is.
Yeah.
And then your relationship, and for whatever time it is, a reason, a season, or a lifetime, is so much better because you're not waiting for them to get the
Yeah.
chips to fix themselves, fix the chips, and get the paint job and all this, and now turn from being gently used to brand new.
Right.
Oh no, as is,
Right. So,
as is.
so tell me your take on relationships and disappointment. Okay. I'd love to hear your thought process on that. I know. So, because we talk a lot, um, I shared with you a disappointment that I had recently. And I,
The reason why I sit here today.
you know what? I can't. You are hilarious. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna take it there. We're gonna take it there.
I
Okay.
mean,
All right.
let's just
So the lane in the book.
No, no names. No
No,
names.
I'm just saying the lane in the book is a real person, right? It's a real
Okay.
person.
Okay. Well, okay.
And that person happens to still be someone I know, and I say that loosely. I mean, just I know who he is, okay? However,
Also, no.
oh my God, I was just
That's
like,
that's
we're in a conversation recently and we make an agreement, and rather than just own the fact that maybe, coming on the show was something that he wasn't comfortable with, right? And I don't know, he knows the show is recorded, so it's not like they're going to be people chiming in, dogging him out or whatever. But I just find that it was interesting. My initial response was anger because you could have told me, sooner or whatever. And then it kind of morphed. And this is probably within the course of what, 30 minutes, anger and then disappointment, right? And then I called you and I was like, okay, just talk to me. Just talk to me. We got to come down off that ledge. And what you said to me, just 3 words, I got you. I got you. And I thought, anybody who shares the space that I take up on this planet, if they can't at any point ever say to me, I got you,
you
bump,
know
bump, bump.
correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. I mean, you got to show up. You don't get to be in someone's life and feel like, you deserve to be there. And you already know yourself that you're not prepared to show up.
Yeah.
Ouchie.
No. It's and I think part of it is when we're younger, we're afraid to put that out as a parameter.
Ah,
We are afraid to do that.
yes,
And
yes.
then the older and more fabulous that
That part.
we get to be like, I'm actually cool with it. You should have told me that a long time ago, that you couldn't say those 3 words.
Right, right.
As Stevie Wonder said, these 3 words, short and simple.
Right, right.
If you cannot say when necessary, I got you,
Girl.
then doesn't mean I'll never talk to you. Doesn't mean it
Absolutely.
means
Absolutely.
that, because I saw something the other day that said you have people in your circle that are not in your corner.
Right, right.
So
Ouch.
profound.
Yep.
Your circle, but not in your corner. Somebody who would say, I got you, is in your corner,
Right, right.
not just in your circle. So
Mhm.
there are people who are in the nucleus, and just by virtue of sometimes proximity,
Right,
um, but they don't qualify the space because they cannot say those 3 words when it is necessary.
right. Exactly. Exactly.
When it is necessary. And the thing is, I think that's up to us, though, to determine when that's really necessary. You know, because there are times when people will say, well, I didn't see so and so at your birthday party. Okay. I didn't see them at your wedding, whatever.
Right,
Those are not necessarily times when I got you,
right,
right?
right,
It's the times when you dial the SOS
right.
and then I got you. I remember somebody told me one time, they said to me, you could call me at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, meet me outside, grab a plastic bag and a shovel. Okay. And their whole thing is who's driving.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
okay.
Exactly.
Don't ask me no questions. And he said to me, because if you killed someone, they deserved it. And that's what he said. And I was like,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
This is it. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, those in a lifetime are rare situations
Right.
where you can get somebody who is like that. I got you, you know?
Mm.
Um, but it's so easy. It seems so easy today for people to disappoint that it has become a sport
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
for
You know,
them.
and I actually find myself, and I work on me. I don't care about what other people do or say or whatever. You know, it's my job to work on me and understand why I react to something a certain way.
That's right.
But I'm also looking at it and thinking, I would not have let that person down. I wouldn't let him down. I love him too much to let him down would have hurt me more than hurt him, right? Um, that's really at the end of the day not his problem, because where he is in terms of, I guess, the love continuum, absence means absence. And for me, it doesn't mean that we're not still connected and friends and would help each other. I felt like it was a situation where, you weren't showing up for me because of your own fear for yourself. And I guess everybody would have that, kind of limitations there. I get it. But how many years does it take? How long do you need to know me to know the person that I am, that and know that I've shown up for you multiple times and feel like it's okay? Somehow there is a piece here that I feel like you wouldn't do it to someone that you wouldn't think would get over it. And I think you can do that to me because, oh, Marsha got this. She'll be fine. Anybody will be
Right.
fine as Marsh. Um, doesn't mean I'm not sensitive,
Yeah.
doesn't mean I don't feel, but you look at the fallout. In fact, is there money, a fallout here that, because I don't show up, is it costing you? Because if it's costing you, I can Zelle you something. You know what I'm saying? No, I got it. We're good.
Because what it cost you cannot, money can't be put
No,
on.
no,
You can't
no.
put money on that, what it would cost you. But let me say this, and not that the devil needs an advocate, um, but I wonder, and I'm just speaking personal from my own experiences in terms of disappointment. Um, I often ask myself, did I make it clear to the person how important this was to me?
Right.
Because they are weighing that out,
Mm-hmm.
but they only can weigh it out based on how important it would be to them.
Ouch, ouch. That's good. That's good. And you know
Okay.
what? To that point, my strategy, which is probably not the right one as I'm hearing you and talking to you, is I never ask for anything. Okay. So if I ask for something, this would be that one time that I do need it. I really do need it.
But
And you're
how
right.
would
You're
they
right.
know?
Was it clear? Was the importance really clear to
How
you?
would they know?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
How would
Exactly.
they?
Good point.
Yeah,
Good point.
yeah, yeah. And we do that again. We see everything through our own filter. How would I want this, that, or the other thing. And so that's how we base it, right? So if he was seeing, you know, and weighing it out, it was something that he told you in enough time. In his mind, I'm just saying, in his mind, whatever, working this through. Um, and it was not articulated to say, this is very important to me.
Mhm.
And this here's why. And I need you to do this because of that. Um, we don't tend to do that well
So,
because that puts us in a vulnerable position.
okay, so to that point, one of the things that I say as and to the lane in my life, whatever, and to others, especially at this point in my life, and I have shared that with several people that I'm in relationships with or have been. Relationships are either growing or they're dying. You can't just let them live on their own. That just doesn't happen. So if I'm telling you in the words that I'm using right now that I'm willing to do the work, I'm willing to put in the energy, I'm willing to water this plant and help it grow and put some light on it, whatever, anything that you don't nurture is going to die. And I'm not saying that just like, that's an analogy, but that is true of relationships as well. The relationships that matter to you on some level, you are watering them.
Yeah, but not all plants need daily water. Sometimes they, need more sun, and
I
they
get it.
water by
I get
rain
it. But they
or
need tending
whatever.
to. They need tending to.
Of course,
And in degrees of whatever, I get that part, but they still need tending to.
of course. Um, and so I just think that whole, the attitude of I show up um for them and they don't show up for me. Um, you would wonder if you really asked the person the times that you really needed, did I show up for you?
Right. Right.
They may have a different answer
Oh, I
because
agree.
they too did
Yep.
not articulate, this is super important to me right
Right.
here.
Right.
When you are making the assessment, we are making the assessment, what is important to that person based on what's important to us.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
that's how we do it, because we don't say to them, first of all, let me say this to you. Birthdays are super important to me. A text, HB,
HBD, yeah.
HBD is not gonna cut it
Right, right,
for me. Um, an emoji or something, that's just not gonna work. What if we let people know what's super important to us, and then we can judge them when they don't show up then? But can we really judge them when they're saying, I love a HBD?
right,
And that's completely fine for me. So when they do it, they're thinking it is an act of love and a gesture. It's your love language, because they don't know what yours is,
right.
because we don't tell it.
Yeah, and
We
to
assume you supposed to know that.
yeah,
You know me 35 years. You're supposed to know. No, no. They barely read books. They're definitely not going to read minds.
right, right.
Just, and so it's, again, I have, in these more mature years, have taken so much more of the
Yeah,
responsibility
absolutely.
of my own feelings in a situation and say,
Which,
well, did you say that? You
which
know?
allows you to go through that emotional chamber so much faster. Like I said to you before, got my feelings hurt. 30 minutes later, I'm on the phone with you. We're just like kind of, bantering back and forth. Hung up the phone, I'm done. That might have been a process that took me a week. I
Yeah.
remember going through my divorce, right? And I was, oh my God, it was a hard time. It was like a crazy death, I mean, like the loss of anything, right? But I had a friend guy that I would he worked at the same company I worked with as well. And we'd go have coffee in the morning together. And during that time of me trying to put one foot in front of the other and heal, and I'm just chatting him up about this and what I heard, and this is so sad, and this makes me sad, or but I'm not so much bitter, just so disappointed. And at the point that the person that's your friend looks at you and says, Marsh, all I can say is you're too young to have a son that old. And I was like, okie dokie then.
Was he
He was
trying to?
sick of me. He was sick of me. He's looking at me like, here's this woman with things going on for herself. And, anybody would like to be friends or, in a relationship. She's cool people. And she is like turning this engine over and over again for this dude that, just didn't work out in the story. But again, very much like the Brian W. Smith insertion about growing tough skin, that was the message that I needed that day at that time. And that was it. I was over it. I was like, he's so right. That's on me. He is right. And I need to move on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, again, I think I'm back to the looking at everyone, even people that have been in our lives 35 years. And still we get to make a decision. Would I buy that if the sign said as is?
Yes. Ooh, that's good. That is good. Absolutely.
Would I buy it? Would I take it home?
I know. I know.
Would I accept that?
Yeah.
Or say, I'm gonna leave that there for somebody else who is into pottery and they are into fixing chips
Yes.
and but I'm not, that that crafty, you
My
know.
goodness. Oh
Um,
my goodness.
and recently, Jeff, do I have lipstick on my? It looks like I do, but I don't.
You're
Anyway,
good.
Jeff was driving around and he said, "Oh my," and he's talking to me on the phone. He said, "Oh my God, this there's a mirror like somebody was throwing away. I think it was the not Goodwill, the other Salvation Army people. It was like their garbage out for garbage. And it was this antique, literal mirror. And he said, wow, somebody, needs to get that. I go back, go back. And I said, FaceTime me. And I said, put that in the truck. And I thought to myself of people in my life that I know that are so that they see what I would consider junk,
Yeah.
garbage,
Yeah.
and they see it and then they'll take it and show me the before and after. They
Yeah.
took it
Yeah.
and then they changed the knobs and put some
Yeah.
sparkle
Yeah.
and they painted it and stuff. And I'm just like, bless your heart. It's just not me.
Yeah. Right.
That's not me.
Right.
I am so creative in so many other areas, and I could do it. I don't have the desire to do it.
Yes. Exactly.
So if I don't want to do that with furniture, do I want to do with people's,
No.
with
Absolutely.
somebody else's child?
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't want to paint you up and hammer you to fit and paint you to match, like TL used to say. That was my dad. That was his thing. He's like, people are always trying to, like when the boys were little, they had those little block things, and it's like a square and a circle and a triangle and an octagon. And then you had the pieces separate. And your job was to put the square in the square and the circle in the circle, to learn the shapes,
Motor skills, right?
right?
Shapes and motor skills. Yeah.
Shapes, right. And then you lift it up and you could take them out and start over and do. And he said so brilliantly, my father, one time, people are trying to put this circle in the square,
Right.
hammer it to fit, and then paint it to match.
Right.
Don't fit.
Right.
And that's what we have been doing for decades with people.
Yeah. Yeah.
We want so badly because there's a part of them that we just really like. Just one part.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
that's it.
We want to just make it fit. And Lord knows we know that with shoes because
exactly. Oh my God, don't even mention it.
I was thinking about you the other day when I ordered some shoes. I ordered some red boots when I tell you these boots. And I just went to try, I couldn't wait for them to come in the mail, and I'm ripping open the box like it's Christmas. And I went to put that boot on.
Oh, don't tell me. Don't tell me. No.
And when I tell you, in my mind right now, if it did not slip in there with ease, it's not being worn.
Yeah.
But back in the Disney,
right.
I used to do all the things. Oh, all I need is to just grease up my feet, put some pantyhose, because if you put pantyhose, it makes it easier to do. Cut your toenails off. Okay, everything.
Goodness, it's so true.
And then still be uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah. And isn't it funny how we will learn those lessons in certain areas of our lives and it completely ignore them in others?
That's my point. This is what I'm saying. So now I'm just saying, now I see everything like the boots.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This don't fit.
Yeah, yeah.
And what I'm not trying to do is do grease up and do this and that and put Johnson's baby oils like Diddy and them, whatever. I'm not trying to make something fit that does not fit.
Yeah, exactly.
Leave that and bless somebody. I may send you the boots or whatever, because I'm just not going there.
Yeah.
But again, I think you grow to that. It is something that maybe if people sat me down, I wasn't like you and had those kind of aunties that would tell you stuff like put that deodorant in your purse and all kinds of other stuff.
Too much. Okay. You know way too much, girlfriend. Oh my God.
I mean, I used to live vicariously through you and Aunt Frankie and all the rest of them, and the wonderful things that they would say.
Oh my God. These are my role models.
Right. And so they were mine, vicariously.
Right. Right.
And so I would be like, what would Aunt Frankie do in this here situation?
Right.
That's and I didn't have that directly.
Right.
And that's probably because most of my and I had aunties, but they wouldn't necessarily be people that I should be taking advice from. Especially when it came to relationships. Let's go there. So bless their heart. Most of them have gone on to be with the Lord.
Yes, yes.
Only a couple left. But and you know who you are anyway. But I say all that to say that that is something we evolved to.
Yes, I agree. I
We
agree.
evolved to. I saw a show which I highly recommend because we're always talking about shows, but I won't say the name of the show, but I'll tell you afterwards.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Um, a show that I binged on,
Mhm.
but they had um a 17-year-old girl who was talking to her father about this relationship that she was in. And she says to the father, but I love him. And the father says, basically, you'll love others. And she's like, no, 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 I love him. And he says, is he going to be the last one? Because the best relationship is the last one.
Right.
Is he going to be the last one? And she's like, yes, I want him to be. And so in the next scene or a few scenes after, uh, she says to the boyfriend, um, can we just, lay together, not have sex? And he's like, why would we do that? Because she said to her father, I've never slept with him. And so the father says, oh, good. No, she said, no, I've had sex with him. I've never slept with him.
Oh, wow.
She said, I've never just cuddled with him. It's always been sex.
Right.
So she went to talk to the boyfriend to see can they just cuddle. And he was basically kind of, well, how about we do all these other things? And so she was just standing there. They go to the next scene where she walks into her father's room crying. And he says, what's the matter? And she says, he's not the last one.
Okay. Okay.
And I was thinking, you know what? Bravo
I
to
know.
that daddy
No.
who first of all had to hear, ouch, ouch,
Yeah. Right. Right.
that his daughter was already having relations. But the fact that she was saying, I've never slept with him. I've had sex with him, but I've never.
Right. Right.
And that's what she was looking for, even at 17, to just be held. She told him, you can hold me. And he was like, uh,
Right. Right.
um, and and from that point,
Hmm.
he realized he's not the last one.
Yeah.
And she broke it off. So I'm thinking, wow. I mean, what if we had people really talking to girls in this way, talking to them and saying, have your fun, do whatever, but as is,
Well,
as it.
to your point, and I will wrap up with this. Um, as far as
No, because we got too much to
then you
say.
got
But
to come back. Then you got to come back. That's how that works. But I will say, as far as my story, I haven't found the last one.
Mm,
And if that means I have more to write about as I search for the last one, um, it's a great way to use my time. It's creative, it's cathartic, and it also helps me to grow as a person, as a human being. And because it's self-reflection as I write, the stories that I am sharing, I have to go into my own thoughts, and nobody wants to read something that's not real. If they don't feel connected to the story and the characters, they're not going to read that stuff. It's not compelling. But to my point, we will cheer ourselves out.
oh my
Girl, thank you for those 3 words. I got you. I love you, Shell.
God, you are.
Cheers. Oh,
Yes. Ah,
talk to you soon.
okay.